that, so that was up there. And then also after that, I did behavioral treatment. I was doing counseling and stuff like that. So I've always had a knack for that. Me personally, I want to go back for my master's. I don't know if I'll go to KSU, or maybe,
Yeah.
who knows, but for educational counseling. So yes, as far as, is this the population? Yes. And I've also wanted to, because I'm prior service, I'm ex-military, I've also wanted to work with veterans. So
Oh, okay.
that's the only one I haven't dabbed into. I've worked with families, I've worked with kids, I've worked both direct and indirect care. So if I could go into another echelon, that would probably be it. Next, it would be veterans.
That's good. Kind of on each
Mm-hmm.
end.
Mm-hmm.
And what prepared you for this career?
Mm.
KSU,
Well, I
of
think
course.
KSU had its parts. I mean, some of the I think some of the training that you'll go through later, especially before you get out and graduate, some of the materials was a little bit far fetched. It wasn't meeting what I would say would better prepare you for what you're about to go into. I think they need to have more, as far as their internship, they should have more focus on hands-on, rather than giving you these huge assignments. And that's just me personally. That's how I felt when I was in, and that's how I feel now, because it would better prepare you. And I think that would also prove more to the facility that you do your internship with, that you have that focus on the internship rather than doing a project at KSU. If you have that focus at the internship, hey, they're probably going to look at you as a serious candidate for a job coming up. But if you're like, focused on school and you're half there, it doesn't tend to work out too well.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't know if that answers the question. I might have got on a tangent, but that's just my view.
And what are the most challenging aspects of this job?
For me right now, it's the language barrier. I don't speak Spanish fluently, so that presents the biggest issue. I mean, poquito, a little bit, but that's the biggest one, because a lot of parents, they want that comfort factor, and everybody wants to be understood, and so I guess that's the hardest thing. We do have a couple of teachers that translate and help us out and assist in that, but they're not always available, so sometimes it can be daunting to get the materials and have the parents understand that, hey, this is going to be more beneficial for your child if you get your medical records up to date, and obviously you make attendance on time and whatever, because you want to build those structures in the early developmental stage of the child. That's going to have huge effects and influence later on for the child's well-being. So stuff like that, it's kind of hard to relay that when you don't understand the language. That would be.
Makes sense. It's all learning experience.
Oh yeah.
And what are the most rewarding aspects of this job?
The rewarding aspects is basically, at the end of the day, the kids. It always comes down to the kids. I mean, in this field of study, in this field of anything, it's going to be always the output or the results from your parents and your children. You want autonomy. You want these children, you want these parents to be self-sufficient. I know this is a big one, and again, this could probably go against KSU's thought process, but I don't refer to helping people. I'm here to support you. Helping means that you can't do it on your own. I'm here to get you to the point where you can, and that's what I like. That's the feedback I want to get. I want to get that aha moment that they say they understand and they can do it on their own, and that's to me.
That was a good way of explaining that.
Yeah.
And now I see what's going on here, but they from my class probably won't know. Would you describe this work setting?
It's yellow. No, it's good. It's you got your little cubby holes basically. It's almost like you're in a regular business. The setting's pretty good. It always comes down to your coworkers, your colleagues, how you approach and communicate with them, if you work well off each other, support each other, because you want to have that teamwork. And then also depends a lot too on your management, how their way of relaying messages and assigning different tasks and everything, how they delineate their processes. You want even when you ask somebody to do something, there's a good way to ask, and there's a bad way. Just like there's constructive criticism and there's destructive criticism. So as long as you know those gambits and you know how to navigate around it, usually the work environment goes a lot smoother that way. And I think so far it's pretty good. It can be stressful, because you got so much caseload and getting that barrier. But other than that, that's really what makes the foundation of good teamwork. So.
That's good. And what advice would you give to an undergraduate student like me preparing for a career like this?
I guess the advice is don't be afraid to get your feet wet. You will, like for me, I mean, again, I went from residential, I went to behavioral treatment and counseling and assisting therapists, to now I'm in Head Start, and eventually I'm going to go back and get my master's, and I'm going to go and become a counselor. So I'm not afraid to get my feet wet. I'm not afraid to try different things. And I think as long as you have that open mind and don't say, hey, I only want to work with this one group, or this one socioeconomic branch or whatever, if you're willing to give yourself open doors and say, I just want to help somebody, or I want to support somebody, that's the better term, I think that'll go far, because you never know where you'll find your interest, your niche, that calling. You might say, hey, I only like working with kids, and next thing you know, you work at a hospice center and you love it. And even though it's grief counseling, you still love it and you have that niche. So don't be afraid to dabble and try new things and get your feet wet.
Definitely. And how long have you been working for this company?
This company, almost a year now. So kudos to me. Yeah. But yeah, it's been pretty good, and I've been steady working since I left KSU. So it was good. I had some good times. I guess my favorite part was towards the end when I did the last internship at DFACS. I still keep in contact with my supervisor that I worked with there, Margaret Dahl, and she's outstanding. She's actually now, I still keep, she's the director at Forsyth County DFACS, so she moved up. So I'm kudos to her, and we keep in contact, and I guess that would be another one to tag on. I know you already asked it, but I'll go back with it. Another one is keep that networking skills, keep those open lines of communication, because you never know. And she gives good advice. She's knowledgeable, and so it's good to have those type of people in your life, for both professional and personal. So.
That's good. And do you find your schedule flexible?
Yeah, it's more of a 9-to-5 type of job right now. The jobs that I've had before, it was basically as far as your case management, and I did a lot of DFACS services too. It was more you had a range on your clients, so there'd be some days I would be, on the road for almost 11-12 hours. And then, some days I would have like 1 or 2 clients for 1 or 2 hours, and I'm like scratching my head, what do I do? But this job is more of a 9-to-5. It's more of, you come in and you already know your task, you already know what your responsibilities are to your clients and everything. So yeah, this one's more geared, again, more of a regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, but I think the flexibility comes in is when we can set how our pace.
Oh yeah.
I might not even feel like picking up the phone, and I won't.
Oh,
then tomorrow, I was like, okay, I didn't do anything yesterday. I need to bust my behind.
Hustle
today.
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the flexibility. The flexibility is not in the hours. It's just in the way we do our job.
Yeah. But I think too that one of the positive things from what I come from, it's more structured, which that you're right. As long as you know, hey, I have this certain amount of hours. If I rest now on this day, the next day, I still have that certain amount of hours that I can bust my hump and get everything knocked out. Yeah, so.
Exactly.
So that does help.
Well, that's good. It doesn't sound too bad. I feel like I can do something like this.
Oh yeah. It's a good first job, definitely.
Well, that would conclude this interview. I just had a few questions for this assignment. Okay.
All right.
So I'll stop there.